a show here.
We are
We're
rolling.
trying to do a program.
The Neck Hardware and Lounge brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1531, April 24th, 2025. We had a record high of 84 degrees. That was in 1962. And back in 1875, they had a chilly morning of 24 degrees.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your Flashlight King, Fireworks Commissioner, and the Keeper of Common Sense, your Mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Ice outs. Minnetonka went out on this day in 1899, 1924, 1996, and 2014. And I could find no ice outs for this day on White Bear Lake. But Jackie from the north wants us to know that the ice went out up on whatever hell lake that is.
Up north?
Grand Rapids.
One of those lakes up north?
Yeah.
I know Jackie. Her son is a sprint car racer. Pretty damn good, too.
Jackie just had a tough time.
Why?
She lost her husband.
Oh, no.
Yep.
And
In fact, she emailed us and said that they were at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater when we did the anniversary show, and they did the Hail You open, and I sent it to her.
good, because that reminds her of the hubby.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart
likes
goes
it.
out to you, Jackie. I'm sorry to hear that.
I received a bulletin very early this morning saying, oh, boy, now our milk's going to be poisoned. We're not going to have testing of the milk. And I've learned over the years, I said, what's that? And, well, it's right here. FDA is no longer going to test milk because we're trimming all these employees.
Jeez.
And I said, what's your source? Well, it's on the Drudge Report.
Sure.
I said the Drudge Report's a bulletin board. What's the source of the story? The Guardian in the UK. Well, they're a committed Marxist organization, so I thought, okay, let me dig into that. And you got to do this now. Every bleeping story that comes out of the White House, you got to go through layers of BS to find out what's really going on. So I chose the Washington Post, believing that would be agreeable to euphorians who trust
Compared
the
to what
Washington.
you've presented already, yes.
The Food and Drug Administration has suspended a quality control program meant to ensure the ability of labs to identify pathogens and other contaminants in milk. Let me preface that again by saying the reason I dug into this is because I found it hard to believe that in a country of 350 million people, we were suddenly just going to end testing milk.
Right.
That didn't seem likely to me. I know that things are crazy now and things are wild, but are we really going to stop? Are we just going to take our chances with milk? So anyway, the Food and Drug Administration has suspended a quality control program meant to ensure the ability of labs to identify pathogens and other contaminants. On Monday, the agency halted its proficiency testing program for milk and dairy, the agency said in an email to staff, according to news reports. Under that program, the FDA sends milk samples, some of which are intentionally tainted, to labs at dairy processing centers to test whether the labs correctly screen them. Okay. I keep reading here. An FDA spokesperson confirmed to the Washington Post that the program is currently paused, but said in an email that it will resume once transferred from its current home to another FDA lab, which they described as an effort that is actively underway. I did some further homework and found out that transfer, it sounds like a transfer of buildings. That was underway before Trump got elected. In the meantime, here's the key. In the meantime, state and federal labs continue to analyze food, and FDA remains committed to working with states to protect the safety of pasteurized milk. So there you have it.
Okay.
Nicole Martin, an assistant research professor in dairy foods microbiology at Cornell University, said the move would cause some disruption for labs that rely on the FDA program to certify their proficiency, but that they will find alternatives at state agencies to maintain their annual certification status. From a consumer perspective, people should not be worried, Martin said. For labs that use FDA samples, it's an inconvenience, she said, but ultimately we're a very highly regulated industry, and it's going to continue to be very carefully regulated and monitored. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Because the other thing that occurred to me was this morning I got thinking about this, and I thought, I'm a pretty good curmudgeon when it comes to wasteful spending in the government. But never once did I ever get up. What?
I'm listening.
Never once did I get up in the morning and think, damn it, we just have too many milk inspectors. That never occurred to me.
Well, but you know what tipped them off, don't you?
I don't.
Because they were really susceptible to some type of infraction.
Pa! His bed's made, but he isn't in there. He must have left.
Guess Brother Hezekiah was afraid of getting his fingers dirty.
Morning! Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I got up a little early, so I took the liberty of milking your cow for you. Yeah, it took a little while to get her warmed up. She sure is a stubborn one. Then, pow, all at once.
All right, thank you.
Just wait.
I
We don't
understand.
have a cow.
Oh, boy.
We have a bull.
Yeah,
I would like it if you would never play that again.
yeah we did.
That's upsetting.
Oh, I guess I could just, interrupt nonsense.
That's icky. Oh. So you're not worried about the nation's milk supply?
I'm not, and but it's not just this story. There's many. If you accept the fact that, generally speaking, and the Washington Post contradicts this in this story, but generally speaking, conventional news gatherers, I think, have a template in which, I'm going to put it as charitably as I can, Trump is found to be disagreeable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anything they can do to make him continue to sound more and more disagreeable, they will do. So most of the headlines that regarding this milk story is, well, here, I'll read them to you. I'll read you the damn thing. I'll read you the dang thing. Let me go over here, and we go up here. This is the Drudge Report today, which began this whole uproar. Airlines, no. Well, did they take it? They might have even taken it down.
Maybe they took it down.
I'm not finding it. I bet they took it down because when you peel it back and look at it, we're not stopping the testing of milk, and I believe the story has been taken down. So, but the headline was milk safety in question as testing milk stops, something like that. And I thought, really, I don't think we're Plus, Trump's a health freak, or a germ freak. He doesn't want to drink tainted milk.
But that's just one story, like you said. You have to do that now
Every day.
Every single story out there, no matter what the source is.
I could not watch Governor Walz's State of the State speech. I probably should have, because it turned out it was very brief, 23 minutes. But I saw all the pertinent video and audio of it. And I just, for my own well-being, I just thought, I can't do it. But he did spend, 2/3 of it criticizing Trump. It was more of a campaign speech, really,
Right.
than a State of the State address.
Everything that's wrong with Minnesota right now is Trump's fault.
Yeah. And I have nothing to say about it because I didn't see it. And for some reason
Didn't you give yourself that homework assignment?
I did. But I didn't follow through. I couldn't do it. So I don't think I missed much. I think he thinks the state's in good shape. and anything in the state that's not in good shape would be the fault of Trump.
Well, of course, that's how it works.
So,
In regards to that, his quote, if we don't govern responsibly, someone else will get a chance to govern irresponsibly, and I refuse to let that happen.
He did get booed, though.
well, he has not governed responsibly.
He did get booed last night.
Well, I'm sure the Republicans.
Students being swept up, shoved into unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process.
There's
I don't
really,
know if that's happening, Tim.
There's really, see, the Maryland Man is another good example of how you've got to peel back layer upon layer upon layer to discover what a bad guy Abrego is.
Fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags.
I have the cartoon bubble of a dwarf tossing contest. They're just being heaved in there.
See you later.
But gaslighting in full effect last night.
Wow.
Did you hear or read any of the opposing viewpoints from Lisa and the like?
I heard Lisa speak, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a pretty divided house.
It certainly is.
It's a pretty divided house.
What did you make of his offering an olive branch to the Republicans, saying that we work together and et cetera, et cetera?
Boilerplate BS.
We don't know that.
Didn't mean a thing.
He's asking the Senate and House to pass his $66 billion budget proposal and around $5.5 billion in cuts over the next 4 years. Most of what would be controlling costs at the Department of Human Services, where state budget officials warn reimbursements for disability services could consume half the budget by the 2030s.
Speaking of the Department of Health and Human Services, Mary is really taking a lot of heat, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Mary.
Why is that?
Mary made the front seat of the Minnesota Star and Walz Journal with a headline that says Moriarty in hot seat with Tesla decision. And boy, they even had an editorial about it, a guest editorial ripping her and letters to the editor ripping her.
Brandy Bennett, a big long piece. And I was surprised to see, you're right, the letters to the editor. That seemed like a first to me.
She's in hot water because she let this Tesla scratch her off the hook. And I don't buy her answer. I don't understand her explanation. She said, we try to make decisions without looking at the political consequences. Can we always predict how a story will be portrayed in the media and what people will say? No, we can't. But she said something to the effect that this is a way we can ensure public safety. What does that mean?
Seems like the opposite to me.
It's not public safety to have this idiot walking around keying cars. I suppose he doesn't deserve a life term in what Walz would call a gulag. But he
did do it 6 times.
6 times. And so what we also learned from that is, apparently, if I rob 6 banks, do I only get charged for 1 felony? Mary?
Well, no, if you rob the bank, you have to give the money back, and then you won't be charged with anything.
But Mary's in hot water, and I was surprised at that. I'm not going to put any great faith in the idea that people have had their eyes open to how dangerous she is, but she's getting some heat even from the friendly paper.
And from the prosecutor up in Anoka County. Did you see that? Yeah, that was a fun conference. Was it a press conference or just a press release? I think it was a press release.
Press release,
yeah,
I think. Yep.
Yeah.
But she had a press conference, didn't she?
Don't even get me started. GLers, oh, God.
Now what?
He started.
She was at a Hennepin County Library, Brooklyn Park Library, holding a news conference announcing a new initiative that will make gun locks free at 11 libraries in Hennepin County. Every single gun owner in this state has more gun locks than he or she has guns.
Right.
These things are readily available, and they're next to nothing, if not free. And we all have gun locks. The only people that don't have gun locks, criminals.
Okay. Are they going to the libraries?
And you think they're going to go in and go, oh, my goodness, I need a gun lock for my criminal gun. I don't think so, Mary.
I don't have a gun
Was
lock.
this connected to the Supreme Court deciding not to hear Minnesota's appeal of Minnesota does not want to give carry permits to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, and the Supreme Court refused to hear the case.
Yeah.
And last night on the 5, we learned that Lucky Rosenblum, who his dad was Tiger Jack, who I knew Tiger Jack pretty well. Lucky Rosenblum has been teaching carry courses for 20 years.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
And he will not teach 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, which is his personal decision. And it doesn't bother me in the least. That's what he said, I'm not doing that. And he's getting taken apart for that he's called he doesn't believe in the Second Amendment and what have you. Well, of course he does. He's just deciding that no, I'm not doing that, and that which is fine with me. The 18-year-olds causing troubles with guns are not going to take a carry course anyway.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't have to say that. Thank you.
So good. I say good for you, Lucky. What the hell? You're standing on your own. You want to be able to sleep at night, unlike the prosecutors in the Central Park 5 case.
If you ask me, there's no higher responsibility than gun ownership and carrying a gun. And you have to be a pretty serious gun aficionado to carry. I have told so many of my relatives, well, I'm going to get a cute little 38 and put it in my nightstand and get a permit to carry. And it's just, I just tell them, don't do that.
Then the grandkid will shoot a friend who's over playing with them.
Well, in theory, that person would put a gun lock on. But this gun lock thing has got me so upset. When I get home today, I'm going to count how many gun locks. I bet you I've got 20.
You have more gun locks than guns?
I bet I do.
I got 3. Why? I got 3.
I am going to count my gun locks. Yeah.
Joe, I really don't want to make you upset, before we have to break, because I really try hard not to get you going with various things that
don't then.
The state of Minnesota. But thank you very much, Aaron, for sending this clip of Tim Walz last night at the State of the State. The State of the State, Joe, was last night.
This budget was not written to please everyone. It was written to bring everyone to the table. And when we get there, we're going to have disagreements, no doubt. My progressive friends might have wished we were cutting a little less. My conservative friends might wish we were cutting a little bit more.
Yep.
My wife wishes that I would take the pay raise that was offered, but I turn it down. But this is how government's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be one old man sitting in the Oval Office sending out middle-of-the-night tweets that shot markets into freefall. It's not supposed to be a bunch of 20-somethings unelected showing up at federal agencies and firing everyone. It's not supposed to be chaos and destruction. It's supposed to be good people elected by their neighbors with differing opinions coming together to negotiate in good faith.
I got you.
The Mink weighed in and he said he thought Timmy's speech should have been called "The State of the Guy I Hate."
Pretty good. That's good.
It's a weak leader who blames others. I happen to agree with that. And what else is this?
What do you got?
I wanted to tell you that I was at EcoFun Motorsports last weekend.
Where are you?
And if you want an electric bike, there's a great variety on the show floor. But check out the Scoot Star electric bike. It's got. See, I'm kind of a light guy, a headlight guy. You should see the headlights on the Scoot Star. They're cool. They're like you buying a 1965 Triumph Bonneville.
You say, hey, nice headlights.
They got great headlights. And then they got a great parking lot, so you pick out the color of the Scoot Star you want and take it outside, get it all adjusted and the whole deal, and the prices are fantastic. Everything in EcoFun right now is pre-tariff. Everything they got in there before the tariffs happened. So it's just fantastic. Youth recreational equipment and motorcycles. Oh, there's a lot of motorcycles, 4x4, side-by-sides, jet skis, scooters, youth recreational equipment, helmets and apparel, but everything pre-tariff. Really, really great prices right now at EcoFun. It's right on 97, immediately west of 35. You got to go through two of those screwy roundabouts. Yeah. But there you can get there because you can see the promised land as you're going through the roundabouts.
In the over the great beyond.
That's right. And then down in Burnsville,
Over yonder.
down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. It's ecofunmotorsports.com.
Saw some gate agents.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Sujo.
Why do I have to learn so many lessons about doing it wrong before I finally get around to doing it right? I wasn't smart enough to hire ProTurf the first couple of years that I was a new homeowner in the 90s. I had to learn my lesson first. I thought I was smarter than everybody else. And then when I finally signed up, it's the same question we always ask ourselves. Why didn't I do this years ago? GLers, learn from our mistakes. Learn from my mistake. Just get on to professionalturf.com. Put your yard in their hands. You will not be sorry. First thing that's going to happen, you're going to sign up for a free estimate. Then that's when an experienced service tech's going to come out, analyze your situation. I like to use the word reconnoiter. Good word, reconnoiter. And then he's going to come up with your very own customized program, slow release fertilizer and weed control plans that are environmentally safe and superior results. You'll have the best yard on the block. No crabgrass, dandelions, broadleaf weeds. All those bare spots will fill in. It'll be lush. I'll bet you there's some GLers that are mowing already. While you're at that website, be sure to check out everything else they do. They can service your irrigation system, no problem. And they also do a dandy job with landscape work. We're talking exceptional lawn care, landscape, and irrigation service. Get that free estimate, professionalturf.com.
I could only find Fox 9 doing this story, but it's important. I would say it's amazing, but it's not. It corroborates pretty much everything we've been saying about what's happened to us. The Minneapolis City Council recently signed off on 5 annual contracts for violence interrupters. And those contracts total more than $3.4 million in funding. They were supposed to go into effect April 1. But the contracts have remained unsigned. And so no money's been paid out yet because the violence interrupters, who are not currently interrupting any violence, they don't like the requirements required to exercise the contract.
So they're in negotiation.
Yeah.
City Hall is still trying to work out new contracts. But the violence interrupters, as I said, they're pausing. They've paused. Mo Abdul Ahad is founder and executive director of Touch, T.O.U.C.Touch. His team of unarmed violence interrupters in their black and yellow outerwear, Jesus, typically walk East Lake Street, addressing issues and keeping the peace. But that's not happening. Touch is one of several nonprofits attempting to negotiate with Minneapolis, but they don't. Well, Abdul Ahad told the Fox 9 investigators, who did this piece for Fox 9, Paul Bloom, that he has serious concerns about some of the requirements city staff are implementing during the contract cycle, including background checks, drug testing, and shrinking the size of his street outreach teams. So in other words, he doesn't want any requirements. You can't check our violence interrupters for their background. Or you can't drug test them. You can't do background checks. We don't want that. You are going into a partnership with a nonprofit, said Abdul Ahad. You know, it's like we need the flexibility to be able to do what is best for our organization. Well, apparently that to me sounds like if I can't find any guys so I can collect my $1 million, I want to get a couple of drug addicts, and that's just tough. That's the way it works for me. Abdul Ahad's last contract expired at the end of March. He isn't sure Touch can afford the changes he believes the city is mandating within his $708,400 annual contract that comes with a 2-year option to extend. Said Abdul Ahad. some of the things that they are requiring for us to have, this is supposed to be a partnership. That doesn't feel like a partnership. It feels more like a contract. Imagine that. Am I going to go even further than that? I'm going to go further than that. It feels punitive.
Oh, that's a good
We're
word.
so doomed, people, that you have no idea, and you apparently can't open your eyes to it. The Minneapolis Neighborhood Safety Department and the violence prevention organizations doing the work on the streets have been under growing scrutiny because of lawsuits, allegations of mismanagement, and heated arguments at City Hall. Well, for example, they don't provide any evidence of their work. They don't turn any timesheets in. They don't have it. They don't do a bleeping thing. City leaders have promised to enhance the bidding and contracting protocols in funding its violence prevention initiatives that go beyond traditional policing. A Minneapolis spokesperson confirmed yesterday that the violence interrupter groups are currently working on completing new requirements, including hiring, background checks, and drug screening before the final paperwork goes out, including proper training, insurance, and fair pay. Okay. This work has been done for 5 years in a certain kind of way. Transitions are hard to explain. This is Latricia Vita. We have to straighten these things out. People have called for more transparency in what the violence interrupters are doing, what methods they're using, how the city uses and pays violence interrupters. I think that's reasonable, don't you?
It's
yes.
a GL common sense approach.
I mean, if I'm going to hire you, Abdul, and you got your fellas out there walking East Lake Street, I'm going to pay you $740,000 this year. Here's what I want from you. And this moron is bitching about it, saying I shouldn't have to do any of this. It's not clear what timeline on negotiations is right now. Sources have said the sides have an important meeting scheduled for Monday, this coming Monday.
Do I have to file any forms or anything to turn anything in when I get this money?
But for now, the violence interrupters are off the streets. Okay.
700.
That's just one. That's just one of the groups.
So are they paying these guys walking
course,
up?
yes.
So they're getting paid.
Of course. And Abdul wants him to be paid without him having to account for anything.
And
Give me our money. Give us our money. Money.
Hasn't he just paid attention to what's been going on?
Well, in fact, he even says nonprofits. I can't.
There's a very good in-depth story. We almost have missed it somehow on March 26th in the Star Tribune.
I guess I
Thank
did.
you. That's what I was going to bring up, John.
Yeah, about the whole thing. Basically, it's got everything you just read,
Yeah.
plus a bunch more stuff. But he presents the same ideas, and it points out that they're paid. Each one would be paid $46,000 to $55,000 a year
for walking.
Yeah.
That's not a bad
for
gig.
walking 6 blocks and turning around and walking back.
Where do you apply for this?
This
Jeff?
this is just shut up money. This is just protection money. We'll take a number of you off the street and call you violence interrupters. We'll pay you.
I think the problem is with us, I think that story was so long that we all kind of went, read the first paragraph.
I would have
and
read it.
moved
I
on.
apologize for missing it.
I thought we referenced it, to be honest. I thought we used it.
I'm looking at a 2020 piece from our good friends over at NPR about MEET, the Minneapolis Violence Interrupters.
Here's what it's come to, ladies and gentlemen.
Talk to me, Goose.
Yep.
We are so poorly led.
How poorly led are we?
With such a corrosive ideology that, somebody thought violence interrupters would be a good idea, while at the same time they were defunding cops. And B, once we put the violence interrupters into operation, they've been basically squabbling with each other about who gets what and how much money do we get. And as time goes on and they try to hide the city council and the mayor's office and whoever dreamed this BS up, as they tried to hide their incompetence about it, they're dressing it up with contractual requirements. And they're basically saying, I mean, they're making an effort. They're basically saying to the violence interrupters, look, we're going to continue this. We're going to offer you a contract. Well, the violence interrupters don't even like the concept of a contract. especially if the contract has provisions in it that they must adhere to. They don't want anything to do with rules.
Nope.
They want nothing to do with qualifications. They want nothing to do with background checks. They want nothing to do with background testing. Give us our money. Give us our free money now.
They don't want to be adults.
This is a pathetic way to run a city. There shouldn't even be violence interrupters. In the first place, it's all BS. In the second place, you can't even get them to agree to your basic rules.
I want to know what a day in the life of a violence interrupter is. Are these guys actually walking up and down the streets and connecting with kids and throwing a football? Or are they doing the soprano swagger and, you know what I mean, threatening people and being tough guys? What's it like? What are they doing?
Well, we don't know what they're doing because they've not been responsible to account for what they're doing.
They can't even phony up some paperwork.
Well, didn't we lose? Now, someone just left her position in Minneapolis. This came up 2 months ago.
Yeah, we talked about it extensively.
And she left because she was frustrated that these morons wouldn't even turn. They were turning in things on a napkin.
Right. It was an auditing issue.
Yes, Chris.
I have the AI overview, Kenny, of a violence interrupter's job. Are you ready for this?
Just a minute. I thought you were going to help with this story. I thought you had the name of the lady who lost her job or quit her job. But you can go ahead.
Their job is to reduce violence by working directly with individuals at risk of being involved in violence and with community members to de-escalate conflict and promote safer behaviors. They also play a role in identifying and addressing the underlying causes of violence in their community.
And here's what I want you to do for that. I want you to sign a piece of paper.
Okay.
I want you to turn in your hours. I want to tell you. I want you to tell me, did you interrupt any violence? On and on. And none of that is being done.
Was it Nelson Brown?
Yeah, Luana Nelson Brown.
Yeah, Luana Nelson Brown.
Yeah.
There is a frequently asked questions, but I won't go into that.
And she'll go to another city closest to the country's tallest building and get a similar gig.
But she wasn't the bad guy in this, if I remember right.
I wanted desperately to believe that she threw up her hands in frustration.
That's my memory.
Yeah. John, anything else that would corroborate that?
Is that right or wrong, John?
And this is at a time when, wasn't it, who was the reverend who was accused
McAfee.
McAfee was accused of yelling at the council, and it was at this time that the contracts were to be shifted to Hennepin County for their oversight, and McAfee didn't like that, and on and on and on. And the point is that the violence interrupter program instantaneously became additional fraud. And I'm very comfortable in saying
it's a professional grift.
It's just a professional scam, and it's not even professional. It's just a scam.
Didn't the Luana and Wansley got into it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they were going back and forth.
And the one voice of reason over there, Latricia Vita, I get the feeling is close to throwing up her hands because she can't believe some of this BS.
Seems like she's one of the sane people on that council.
Right. And she just, well, here's her quotes again from this story. That we don't have any violence interrupters on the street now because they won't adhere to the contractual requirements. This work has been done for 5 years a certain kind of way, meaning it's been done poorly. Transactions are hard for people. By that, transitions are hard for people. I hope I'm not putting words in her mouth, but I think what she means is now that we're asking them to actually be accountable, it's very difficult for them. They don't understand why they'd have to adhere to anything professional.
Well, it would be like clocking in 7 p.m., walk the streets till midnight.
We
5
have
hours.
We have to straighten these things out, she said. People have called for more transparency. In other words, we're giving away $3.5 million of tax money, and we'd like to know what's going on with it. What methods are they using and how the city uses and pays violence interrupters? That came from Latricia Vita. Well, of course that's what people want. The people of Minneapolis are being fleeced constantly. The people of St. Paul are being fleeced. These governments are run for their own amusement and their own ideologies, and it has nothing to do with work rules, regulations, discipline, ethics. It has nothing to do with that. This is all one giant scam.
Whatever happened to Guardian Angels? They were a nonprofit. Sliwa and his.
That was 40 years ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Carlos.
They're Curtis
Sliwa.
Aren't they still around?
I think they ended up in New York.
I think they started there, and he tried to expand across the country. Yeah, 130 cities, 14 countries worldwide.
I mean, in the real world, this kind of life cannot happen. It doesn't happen. You can't go to work for the Acme Nut and Bolt Company and say, look, here's what you're going to pay me. And if I show up, okay, but I'm not filling anything out. You're not testing me for anything. You're not going to do a background check on me. And if I'm here, but I want the check.
Right.
Well, that doesn't happen.
You'd walk into the nut and bolt company and say, everybody's nuts.
By the way, I need an advance, too, by the way.
Yeah. I want to need all that.
Need a signing bonus.
It's just
what?
It's just.
I mean,
you know.
Do you know that you pay? I know, Chris. I'm over the clock, but that's all right. Okay. Do you know that we pay?
What do we pay?
$11 million a year for a security contract that Metro Transit has with a private firm to safeguard the light rail stations. And this has come to light because there's been some video taken. This is an Eric Rasmussen piece at Channel 5. We've had a violent takedown involving a private security guard and a 22-year-old man outside the Metro Transit light rail station in Minneapolis. And apparently this is being investigated because a verbal dispute between guards and the man. The encounter turned physical when one of the guards grabbed Elante Holston from behind as he appeared to be walking away from the Lake Street Midtown station last November. A guard later told Metro Transit Police that Holston threatened to shoot him, but officers never did find a gun. Witnesses who called 911 described the guards as attacking Holston, who looked as if he was defenseless, according to the police report. Metro Transit says it reviews all allegations of misconduct, but the incident is raising larger questions about a contract with a security giant, Allied Universal. Metro Transit is on the hook to spend up to $11 million of taxpayer money for the security at light rail stations in the Twin Cities. And then it goes on to say that what happened to this kid should not have happened. He was defenseless. He didn't have a gun. And the guards are...
I'm not seeing the video I saw yesterday of this. The video I saw yesterday, this guy's walking away from us, pushing a bike back to the camera.
Yeah.
And this guy comes on at a full clip and tackles him
right.
like it's a football game.
I saw it. And you wouldn't really think the guard would have done that if he feared getting shot, would you?
No.
So I don't know who these security guards are, but you're paying $11 million for that. And you're paying $3.4 million for violence interrupters who are not currently interrupting any violence because they're rejecting any obligations they might have to fulfill in terms of a contract. That doesn't strike them well. That's not comfortable for them. That's not comfortable for them.
So is this Metro Transit or is this...
This is Metro Transit.
Okay.
The Center of the American Experiment wants to alert you to the educational plans for the state of Minnesota, and you can find those plans at radicalrepeal.com. This is changes in the curriculum, and the American Experiment has been on top of that. They want you to know about it. There is a bill to stop this nonsense, And basically, by nonsense, I mean it's critical race theory based. First graders must identify examples of ethnicity, equality, and liberation, and construct meaning for those terms. I don't think first graders are capable of that. When you get up to sixth grade, you have to study how race is socially constructed. Then I guess you get a field trip. You drive around the Twin Cities to look at murals and artistic pieces combating racism. Maybe you'll get a little tour of George Floyd Square, which is a really nice place. It's a tourist stop, I think. But go to the AmericanExperiment.org and then find RadicalRepeal.com. American Experiment, great outfit. We're lucky to have them in our midst. Seminars, magazines, newsletters, speakers. We use them. I'm sure you do too by now. AmericanExperiment.org. Well, I wish he'd do it.
The Earth is not your mother.
Now here's
the
Morgan
Joe
Reavers.
Souchere Show.
You know who loves clean water? Morgan Freeman.
I love clean water.
And that's my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut. Here's the deal, Morgan Freeman. Spring is upon us, Joe. Spring is
Tis the season.
Officially the season to get your whole home water treatment system upgraded, and that can be done by my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut. What are you pointing at?
You don't have it up there.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Hofferman Water and Connecticut is here to take care of you and all of you GLers, because having a fully third-party certified reverse osmosis system is going to take reduced contaminants that are commonly found in both city water and also inside of well water. And here's the deal. I started out as a customer of Hofferman Water and Connecticut, and I'm so glad that I made the switch, because it's made an amazing difference in the quality of my water, and I know it will do the same thing for you. But the first step is you got to get on that schedule and adjust that microphone and have them come out for that free water analysis. And you can do that one of two ways. You can call them directly at 612-895-2440 or visit their website at hoffermanwater.com. And as long as you're on that website, check out every single water treatment system that they have to offer. And it doesn't matter if it's a brand new water softener, an iron rust and overfiltration system, or a brand new drinking water system. Get on that schedule. They're going to come out and they're going to give you a water score and recommend different types of water treatment systems. 612-895-2440 or hoffermanwater.com. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please do me a favor and mention that Morgan Freeman sent them your way.
Thank you.
Here's John Haidt.
Thank you, Joe. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. One sports note before we start. Two Minnesota Twin greats are recovering from strokes suffered days apart, according to the team. Former right fielder and designated hitter Tony Oliva had what the team called a series of mini strokes over the past month, but is expected to make a full recovery. And former first baseman Kent Hrbek also suffered a minor stroke following knee surgery in early April. He's recovering at home. The 86-year-old Oliva spent his entire 15-year career with the Twins. He was the American League Rookie of the Year in '64, won the batting title 3 different times, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2022 by the Golden Days Era Committee. The 64-year-old Hrbek, who grew up in the area in Bloomington, played his entire 14-year career here. He was a big part of the Twins teams that won the World Series in 1987 and 1991. Both are still fixtures at Target Field. Their numbers have been retired by the Twins. Oliva's number 6, Hrbek's number 14, and the former players are represented by bronze statues outside the venue. Team says they hope to see both of them back at the ballpark soon. If you'd like more details about their strokes, etc., check out our friend Patrick Royce's column today in the Star Tribune, where he writes about it.
I'm glad they're both fine. That's a relief, but I know what caused them both to have these episodes.
Oh, my.
Because when a twin accidentally hits a home run, they put on this goofy helmet and walk around the dugout. I'd fine them $500,000 for wearing that helmet. And don't wear a helmet until you're at least a 500 team, you morons. So they hit a home run against the White Sox, who couldn't beat Cretin. And then they have to put on this helmet, like a Knights of Columbus helmet, or a, what do you call those things?
Secret water buffalo?
No, like a Viking helmet or something.
Oh, okay.
Last year they put on a jacket that had fishing lures hooked to it.
I think what Joe's trying to say is this is...
Here's today's helmet update.
What a bunch of BS. You morons are what, 6 and 100 or whatever you are, and you're putting on a helmet
1-2 in
if
a row.
you hit a home over the poor White Sox.
Oh, they're playing right now, as a matter of fact.
Don't put the helmet on. You're causing people to get ill.
I can see an aneurysm, maybe a heart attack, but a stroke?
Yeah, they got a stroke from that. Yeah.
Okay,
from
Doc.
From the
Couldn't
helmet.
believe it. They were shouting.
Oh, they saw that and they went, oh.
Doc Souchere, okay.
I didn't think it was possible, Joe, but you sound even older than you are.
Wow.
Well, I don't care if you think it's fine, John, or fine if it's cute. I don't think it's cute.
3 or 4 different insults in one sentence he didn't even notice.
You did pile in.
I'm going to run that one by my cardiologist. That's a new one.
Oh, the twins!
Maybe they can do a little study. Leading cause of stroke.
Well, could we have a little pride? There's no pride there.
They're trying to keep it loose in the dugout, in the room.
I will go with you there. Yeah.
Thank you.
It is shameful.
It's just pathetic.
What's a bigger shame? Them wearing the helmet or Rookie's shirt?
It's a tie.
No. My shirt's way better.
Shirt, yeah. Why don't you guys like fun?
It has nothing to do with fun.
You just about caused Kenny
You know
to
what's
have a
fun?
stroke.
You know what's fun? Winning. Winning's fun.
2 in a row.
BFD.
A little bit of a donkey kick to my heart there, John. I felt that one.
You're
Hurry
welcome.
up with the news. Let's go here.
Wow.
In news, Governor Tim Walz pledging Wednesday night to do everything in the power to protect Minnesotans from the chaos that he and said President Trump has unleashed to the country and the world.
State of the guy I hate.
1.5 speed. That was pretty good, Johnny.
Delivering his annual State of the State speech to the joint session of the legislature, the Democratic governor said Minnesota is as strong as it's ever been, but has had, quote, a moment of great uncertainty for a nation. It was Walz's first major address to a statewide audience since the 2024 campaign when he was Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, and they lost to Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. He got frequent standing ovations from Democrats, but no more than silence or polite applause from Republicans. Walz had said he will decide after the session whether he'll seek a third consecutive 4-year term as governor. A prize that no candidate has won since Minnesota switched to 4-year instead of 2-year gubernatorial terms after the 1962 election. Walz's most immediate task, working with the closely divided legislature to try and enact a balanced budget for the next 2 years before it adjourns on May 19th.
Joe, from the desk of Governor Walz, he issued this, I think a few hours ago, State of the State. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 6 years, Minnesotans have been writing a story about what it is and means to govern like good neighbors with decency and common sense.
How would you like that turd for a neighbor?
But also with courage and ambition, and above all, an abiding commitment to making life better for the people we serve.
Go ahead, John.
I heard a string section in the background while Chris was reading that. I don't know. In other news, police in Mankato think they may have thwarted a potential mass casualty event involving a 24-year-old man.
How about this story?
According to court documents, on the afternoon of April 17th, Mohammed Adan Mohammed was reported by store employees for suspicious behaviors. He allegedly tried to steal items, including 9mm pistol magazines, bear spray, and body armor. Mohammed managed to leave the store with over $2,000 worth of stolen merchandise. Authorities say Mohammed had made several concerning posts on social media indicating plans for some kind of attack within a 24-hour window. He was later arrested and charged with 1 count of felony theft and 1 count of threats of violence. He's due in court on May 1st for an initial appearance.
Well, he should apply to be a violence interrupter. We don't do no background checks.
I don't know if I should bring this up, but his neck is freaking me out.
Yeah, it looks like too skinny.
It's too long.
Yeah, it's really long.
It's got to be a foot
like
and
a
half.
giraffe.
Yeah, it's a foot and a half at the very least.
Why the long neck?
Okay, and I realize this is coming from a no-neck lard ass, but still, that's too long.
It was odd looking. I'm surprised you mentioned that. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, probably getting in trouble.
Probably.
Yeah.
3 members of the Heise gang were found guilty following a 3-week trial, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. 22-year-old Keon Pruitt, 32-year-old Dontrell Johnson, and 29-year-old Gregory Hamilton, all convicted of racketeering, RICO, and corrupt organizations. In other words, RICO conspiracy and using a firearm to cause death. They face a maximum of life imprisonment. It all started back on August 7th, 2021. A prominent member of the Heise gang in Minneapolis was killed by a member of the Lowe's. The next day, members of the Heise put up a memorial where the member was shot. At the memorial, which Pruitt, Johnson, and Hamilton attended, prosecutors say members distributed guns and encouraged each other to retaliate against the Lowe's. After the memorial, Johnson and Hamilton drove to a Lowe's hangout, shot a rival gang member who survived the injuries. Pruitt, Johnson, and Hamilton then drove to Skyline Market, another Lowe's hangout, to shoot another Lowe's member. Prosecutors say the defendants mistakenly thought Darrell Wells was a Lowe's member and shot him. All of that captured on surveillance video. Wells ran out of the store after being shot and into the street, and 2 juveniles driven by Pruitt chased him into an alley and fired additional shots at him. Wells had been shot at least 8 times and died at the scene. This was the first of several jury trials in the case in which 28 Heise members have been charged. 16 defendants are pending trial, according to prosecutors.
Those are really some creative names, aren't they? The Heise and the Lowe's.
What was the name of the business where they were hanging out?
They hang out at a market, Kenny.
Yeah, I'm wondering why the violence interrupters don't hang out there at the same time.
Skyline Market.
Who in the hell would hang out at a market? Is that a grocery store, I wonder?
You want me to look it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Skyline Market.
What do we got going
in
on
Minneapolis?
here? The old Skyline
What is it?
Market.
A grocery store?
What do you buy there?
This is your life. Just shooting at people,
I'll see you
killing people.
I'll see you at the
hanging
grocery
out.
store tomorrow.
Wow.
It's a local grocery store in Minneapolis that offers a variety of fresh produce, meats, and pantry staples to the community.
Okay.
So it's a grocery
There
store.
we
That's
go.
where they hang out.
It looks as though it's a convenience store, so not quite like a big,
I
Cub.
understand, Chris. I understand what that means.
Do you want the address?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of
Well,
do.
yeah, I guess.
2400 10th Avenue South.
10th Avenue South.
24th and 10th.
So would it be like the pizza place where the gang of the Sopranos, would sit
So-
outside? That
Like
kind of-
Centrales?
Yeah.
It's on the
Centrales,
south side.
yeah.
So
They have an Instagram page. Do you
it's
want that?
between Franklin and Lake Street.
Okay.
Oh, I've got to look this up now. Go ahead, John.
More info on that incident in a Twin Cities hospital earlier this week. The man who pulled out a handgun inside a room at M Health Fairview Southdale Hospital and caused the facility to go into a lockdown took the weapon from his sister after assaulting her, according to a court filing yesterday. The suspect now has been identified as 65-year-old Larry Sharp. Sharp faces 2 counts of domestic assault, 1 count of threats of violence. He'll make his first appearance on the charges Friday afternoon. This all happened Tuesday around 3 in the afternoon. The hospital went into lockdown while authorities secured the facility. According to a search warrant application filed Wednesday in Hennepin County District Court, Sharp and his sister were visiting their mom, who was receiving treatment at Southdale Hospital. The siblings got into an argument over the power of attorney of their mother, and Sharp's sister told police he struck her 8 to 10 times in the face, head, and throat before throwing her into a chair. Sharp then allegedly took a pistol from his sister's waist, pointed it at her, and said he was going to kill her. He left the room, placed the gun on a cart outside the door. Sharp's sister took her gun back and placed it in her bag. Police later collected it as evidence. In a statement provided to 5 Eyewitness News, M Health said it does not allow weapons at any of its facilities, and they're not sure how it got in. Edina police tracked pings of Sharp's cell phone and discovered he was headed toward his home in Independence, where he was taken into custody on suspicion of second-degree assault.
Go ahead.
Give me that address again. I've got Village Halal Market.
Oh, I have 2400
Yeah.
10th Avenue.
So it's on the corner of 24th and
Okay.
10th, and it's obviously a Somali market. So are the
gotcha.
highs and lows Somali gangs?
They might be.
Boy, we're a bunch of crackers, aren't we?
I wonder how the halal is.
We don't even know our gangs, do we?
We don't, yeah.
I wanted to pass this along from a loyal town council member, Jeff, who is at the Twins game listening to the program.
Yeah.
Look at this photo.
I can't see from here. Is it
There's-
somebody with a helmet?
No, but if you see the photo, there might be about 175 people at this
Well, I
game.
think it's a rainy day and it's
It is
cool.
raining,
and,
yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis, a man was rescued from a sinkhole after being trapped underground for several hours. Fire crews and police officers seen on 13th Avenue South at East 39th Street Wednesday night and early Thursday morning performing the rescue operation. According to the fire department, a drain worker became stuck in a 14-foot hole pinned under sand just above his waist. Using a tripod and a rope above the hole, fire crews were able to connect the man to a body harness as a vacuum was used to suck sand out of the hole. Rescue workers also stabilized the sides of the hole to keep sand from collapsing back onto the man. Additional help was requested from St. Paul and the Hennepin County medical team, the latter of whom provided occasional medical care to the man as workers continued the rescue operation. It took about 6 hours before the man was seen emerging from the hole, walking out on his own before getting onto a stretcher and being taken into an ambulance. The Minneapolis Fire Department said he was transported to the hospital for medical evaluation and treatment, and no other injuries were reported.
Again, the address, 39th and 13th?
39th and 13th.
I used to
correct.
live a couple blocks from there. That's where Bancroft Elementary School is.
Well, I'm glad no children fell into the hole.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a quick break here before some national news?
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed, and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I...
Wow. You cannot stop him. He'll just
aggressive.
make a move.
I'm glad I'm not driving.
Soucheray.
Well, I get yelled at all the time.
It's about time we started, Chris.
Let's go. I got to write.
News.
Nope.
National news. President Trump expressing he was willing to substantially reduce tariffs on Chinese goods earlier this week, signaling a shift following recent tension and reciprocal tariff increases between the world's two biggest economies. Discussions are remaining open. An unnamed White House official shared tariffs on Chinese goods could come down to between 50 and 65%. Officials were also thinking about a tiered approach that phases in different levies over 5 years. Chinese officials indicated they were open to trade talks yesterday, though not under any continued threats from the U.S. Earlier this month, the U.S. raised tariffs on Chinese goods to 145%, prompting China to respond with a 125% retaliatory tariff and additional measures. Trump's latest remarks come after a Monday meeting with representatives from U.S. retail giants Walmart and Target. Recent tariff escalations prompted anxieties among industry leaders and Americans in general, while also causing upsets in global markets and raising fears of a recession. Wall Street Journal reporting sales of existing homes in March posted their biggest monthly decline in more than 2 years after mounting economic uncertainty roiled the housing market at the start of the critical spring selling season. U.S. existing home sales fell 5.9% in March from the prior month to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.02 million, and according to the National Association of Realtors this morning. Also from the Wall Street Journal, the wealthiest have gotten richer and control a record share of America's wealth. New data suggests $1 trillion of wealth was created for the 19 richest American households in 2024. The top 1% in the U.S. holds 31% of total U.S. household wealth, according to the Federal Reserve. The wealthiest 10% hold 67% of all U.S. household wealth, and the wealthiest 50% hold 97%, which of course means 3% is held by the other 50% in the United States.
That's 2024 when Trump was not president.
Yeah.
Huh?
Let that soak in.
John.
Yes.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
That was a hurtful story.
I know where I am.
I'm sorry. Really sorry.
John, we're not mad. We're just disappointed.
I'm not even going there.
That's what happens when you deliver news.
I'm just going to sit here and cry quietly.
Well, so 19 families had a good year.
President Trump tossing cold water on the idea of raising tax rates on the highest income Americans. That has become a Republican talking point lately. Some saying higher taxes should be at the top to help pay for President Trump's broader agenda. But the president called a potential millionaire's tax very disruptive yesterday, a day after former House Speaker Newt Gingrich circulated a message from the president saying he loves the idea of a smaller tax increase on the rich, but was counseling Republicans against it for political reasons. The suburban Chicago man who admitted to fatally shooting 7 people and wounding dozens of others during a 2022 Independence Day parade has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Lake County Judge Victoria Rossetti handed down the sentence this morning after emotional testimony from survivors and the relatives of those killed in the shooting. After years of unpredictable legal proceedings, 24-year-old Robert Cremo III changed his plea to guilty last month. Just moments before opening statements at the trial, dozens were wounded in the shooting in the suburb about 30 miles north of Chicago. They ranged in age from their 80s to an 8-year-old boy who was left partially paralyzed. YouTube yesterday celebrated the 20th anniversary of its first ever video. And if you don't remember what that was, it was a grainy 19-second clip of co-founder Joed Karim at the San Diego Zoo. Since 2005, YouTube, bought by Google for $1.65 billion in 2006, has grown from a simple video sharing site into a media powerhouse, influencing culture and entertainment with more than 20 billion videos uploaded. YouTube now leads America's TV viewing time, surpassing regular networks like Fox, Disney, and Paramount. Last year, YouTube was the second largest media company by revenue, making $54.2 billion. It's expected to take over the top spot this year. YouTube
what's the largest company?
Disney.
Oh.
YouTube propelled the careers of stars like Justin Bieber, popularized trends like ASMR and unboxing videos, and broke viewership records with music videos. YouTube also announced new features, including a personalized radio for premium and music the users and a TV viewing upgrade.
We're on YouTube.
How many videos are on YouTube right now?
28,000.
Do you know, John? Do you know the figure? Is it in that?
Oh, there's got to be
It's more
millions.
than that. Yeah,
I believe, if I heard it correctly, and I hope I'm wrong, it's in the trillions.
At one time.
Could that be possible?
Oh, for sure.
Where's some of that YouTube money at?
It's a bane of my existence.
I know people who watch their television, not YouTube TV, but they'll go and watch a movie on YouTube rather than go to one of the,
on their computer?
Yeah.
Well,
no, on their TV that's
Joe,
hooked up to Wi-Fi.
Honest to God,
.org.
Read that story I just gave you. That's
Trump has been adding his own touches to the White House. So he's got some new flagpoles coming in, some new artwork, a complete redecoration of the Oval Office, and he wants to maybe cover up the lawn and the Rose Garden, brick it over.
No, you read the last sentence.
I know. Trump has talked about paving over the lawn in the Kennedy era Rose Garden.
That's why I love that. Is so triggering.
But here's the part that bothers me. He has spruced up the Oval Office by adding portraits of all his predecessors. That's great. A wall-mounted copy of the Declaration of Independence.
That's awesome.
That is shielded by dark drapes and many golden accents. Wow. And then I think that's next to a large statue of Elvis.
and there's a picture of him holding his fist up right after he was almost killed. And you know who his chief designer is?
I don't.
Kid Rock.
Oh, probably. Yeah. There's no taste here. This is lousy taste.
I love it so much.
Oh, God.
I think what you were asking earlier
is this my new TV?
Yeah.
Why is it that things that trigger other people regarding Trump make me so happy?
Well,
what is wrong with me?
He's undeniably funny.
Oh, he's fantastic.
I read one time that at Mar-a-Lago, this is years ago, he has a big oil portrait of himself in a tennis sweater. Remember those tennis sweaters?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And glaring down at the room. And I just thought, well, okay.
It's awesome.
What are you going to do?
I wonder if he has a picture of himself as a centaur.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mounting evidence suggests vaccination against the varicella zoster virus, now that would be against shingles, can protect the brain.
Are we going to have to see a picture of this in the paper? Or on the news with the little squiggly things flying around.
My uncle's got it right now.
Yeah.
Shingles.
Yeah, it's not
He's
good.
got the shingle?
Yeah.
Several recent studies suggest that vaccines reduce the risk of dementia in older adults, but key questions remain, including how the vaccines might work to stop or delay the condition and whether the benefit is limited to people of a certain age.
Well, who cares if you get shingles if it prevents dementia? I know shingles ain't fun.
I would rather have death over shingles. Seriously.
I think I got a shot for that, didn't I?
Probably.
It's a double shot. It's
Thank
a
you.
two-shot.
I had to go back. Yeah, you're right. I got a twofer.
According to Walgreens, the text they sent me this morning, I can get one tomorrow. I probably will.
Yeah,
you should. Yeah, Shingrix is the most common one. That's the one I got. Probably you too, Joe. They appear to offer protection. The latest study found that among 70 and 80-year-olds in Australia, people who were eligible to get the shot were almost 2 percentage points less likely to get dementia diagnoses in the next 8
2%.
years.
That's nothing.
Well, wouldn't you like to be in that 2%?
Well, I mean,
to
you're telling me there's a chance type deal. That's 2%.
If there's a chance it'll happen to me, that's one
So
thing
unlike
I've
the
learned.
other story, when you're in the 3%, you'd want to be in the 2% in this one?
Oh,
thanks, John.
Sometimes I wonder why.
No, I agree.
You just
Thanks, John.
It'll happen naturally.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Click it off.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Is this Morris Day in the time?
No. The Los Angeles Fire Department is still sending notices to owners of destroyed properties in the Palisades to clear the brush from their property.
Oh.
One property owner, Larry Larson, noted that he received a notice from the fire department warning him about the need to comply with brush clearance regulations and reminding him that brush clearance is a year-round responsibility. The Los Angeles Fire Department also notified the building manager separately of the need to renew the building's fire prevention certification. That building had burned down on January 8th, the second day of the fire. They don't really, it's a bureaucratic hiccup, isn't it? There are no dwellings left to clear brush from in Pacific Palisades, which I don't think has begun to even be redeveloped.
No.
It's going to take
It's going to be a long time.
Going to take a long time. Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, from the Traveling Lymans. It was on this day.
Joe, today is April 24th.
Well, it was on this day in 1846, Seth Eastman became commander of Fort Snelling for a third time, holding the post until May 14. Boy, we wouldn't have this day in history without Fort Snelling, would we? On this day,
April 24,
in 1914, I want you to picture this.
Okay.
In a scene reminiscent of a biblical plague, thousands of frogs overran Melrose.
Oh, wow.
The Melrose Beacon explained that the frogs' annual migratory pattern ran through town. So you had a lot of frogs in Melrose.
I can picture my cartoon bubble. A lot of hopping.
On this day, a sports note, 1956, on this day.
On April 24th.
In 1956.
Millers.
The first baseball game was played at Metropolitan Stadium. The Wichita Braves beat the Millers 5-3. And on this day, in sports disappointment, on this day,
on April 24th.
In 1975, the Minnesota Fighting Saints of the World Hockey Association got all of their equipment confiscated because they hadn't paid their bus bill for 3 years.
3 years?
Now, that's disappointing.
Yeah,
that's a disappointment.
And on this day in 2025, the Wild will suffer a crushing defeat. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think so. Not after I saw
Is
that.
it going to be festive tonight?
Did anyone see the highlight of the pass that Kirill Kasparov made to Boldy?
To the point where
Tuesday night.
Who's the guy? Subban
Said
in the booth.
that shouldn't happen.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. That defied everything I've known to man.
And that's a guy that knows the game.
On this day,
April 24th,
in 2016, the Wild lost to Dallas 4-2 in the first round of the playoffs.
Holy cow, that was 2016.
That's
Who
right.
are we more worried about tonight? Or the next game? The Wild or the Wolves?
I think the Wolves got a better chance of beating the Lakers than the Wild have of beating the Vegases.
Okay.
Although, if the Wild beat the Vegas tonight, all bets are off.
You're up 2-1. You're halfway there.
Bets are not off.
Well, I know they're not literally off, but
it's like they'll still take your money.
If they win tonight, it's meaningless. Doesn't mean anything.
It means something.
No, it's meaningless.
Well, it means
Joe.
You're up 2-1.
No, it's meaningless. They will lose the series.
Wow. Such anger.
Do the Timberwolves play tonight?
Tomorrow.
Friday.
They alternate nights now for the next 4.
I see.
Yes.
Well, thank you, GLers,
Do you
very
want
much.
Do you want a Twins update at all? Or
Sure. Are they wearing the helmet?
I don't think a helmet's been placed because I don't believe there's a score.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Well, those idiots would wear one anyway.
Just to show off?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of YouTube, you know what you should do right now is subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel and join the crowd of 15,000. Isn't that what the Wild say? Or the stadium of... Or the
18,000.
Whatever it is. Join the Garage Logic YouTube channel, and you can watch the show each and every single day starting right around noon on our Garage Logic YouTube channel. You can also see Full segments, video shorts, behind the scenes footage in some cases, but it's all there for you on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. I heard earlier today that there's 2 billion videos on YouTube right now?
A lot of videos.
Quite a few, apparently.
There's a lot of videos. Follow us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And download, what now? Sign up for the Daily Logician. I don't know either. Comes right to your inbox, includes the episode of the podcast. Yeah.
I have the answers. I don't know the question.